Dairo was a man whose name was known across the seas. He had ships that carried gold, spices, and jewels from faraway lands. His palace was filled with carpets from the east, golden cups from the west, and fountains that never ran dry. People bowed when he passed, and traders called him the richest man alive. Yet, inside his heart, he was a lonely traveler in a desert. At night, when the halls of his palace echoed with silence, Dairo would whisper, "What use is all this treasure, if I have no one to share it with?" At a grand feast held in the city, Dairo saw a beautiful, jovial lady. Her name was Celine. Her eyes shone like stars reflected in a river, and her smile was brighter than the sun after a storm. Every man looked at her, but she chose to return her gaze to Dairo. His heart trembled. He thought, "This is the one who will end my loneliness." Friends warned him, "Her beauty is dangerous. Look deeper before you decide." But Dairo was blind to caution. Within 1 month, he married her in a wedding that filled the streets with music and firelight. At first, Dairo's dream seemed real. Celine smiled, and her laughter lit the halls. He gave her jewels of ruby, dresses of silk, and even a garden filled with roses from across the sea. But slowly, her smile turned into silence. She no longer cared for his words or his presence. When he came close, she asked for more gold instead of love. Soon, Dairo saw her spending hours with strangers, her laughter echoing in corners where he was not welcome. The palace, once alive with joy, became as empty as a cave filled only with shadows. One night, Dairo followed Celine into the garden. She sat by the golden fountain, her face pale in the moonlight. He stood quietly and heard her whisper, "I never loved him. I only wanted his riches." The words stabbed him like a knife. All his gifts meant nothing, for her heart was never his. Dairo returned to the hall, broken inside. He stared at his crowns, his diamonds, his treasures, but they felt heavy and useless. He understood then that he was not the master of riches. They were the chains that bound him to sorrow. The next day, Dairo gathered the villagers before his palace. He stood tall, though his heart was heavy, and spoke, "Listen to me. Do not be blinded by beauty. Do not believe gold can buy love. Riches can fill your hand, but never your heart. A crown of jewels cannot turn false love into true love." The people listened in silence. Some nodded, some wept, for many knew the pain of being deceived. From that day, his story became a warning told by elders, the billionaire who regretted marrying her. After Celine's betrayal, the palace grew colder. The musicians no longer played. The gardens lost their color, and even the roses seemed to wither. Celine walked like a queen in jewels, but her eyes were empty, and her heart was far from him. Dairo wandered alone through the halls at night, hearing only the sound of his footsteps. His meals, once shared with laughter, became silent feasts of sorrow. The wealth that once filled him with pride now felt like a curse. He realized he was a prisoner in a golden cage, trapped by his own choices. One morning, Dairo left his palace to walk among the common people. There he met an old widow who lived in a small clay hut. She greeted him kindly and offered him water from her jar. Dairo was surprised. "Why do you smile when you have so little?" he asked. The widow answered, "I may be poor, but my children love me. That is wealth enough. You, rich man, walk as though you were starving." Her words pierced his heart. For the first time, he realized that love, not gold, was the true measure of wealth. Celine grew restless. She demanded more gifts, more banquets, more luxuries. But Dairo, changed by the widow's words, no longer gave her what she asked. Without her endless treasures, Celine's charm began to fade. The strangers who once surrounded her slipped away, seeking new feasts and finer jewels. Alone, Celine wandered the palace halls, clutching her riches, but no one cared for her heart. Her beauty, once bright like a flame, dimmed until she was only a shadow of the woman Dairo once believed her to be. She had gained gold, but she lost everything else. One stormy evening, while traveling, Dairo found shelter in a fisherman's hut by the sea. The fisherman and his wife welcomed him, though they had little. They gave him soup of fish and bread baked over fire. They laughed together as the storm raged outside. Dairo watched the warmth in their eyes and thought, "This small hut is richer than my golden palace." He understood that true wealth is not in gold or jewels, but in hearts filled with kindness. That night, Dairo slept peacefully for the first time in many years. From then on, Dairo changed. He used his ships not only to bring treasures, but also to carry food to hungry villages. He built wells where people had no water and schools for children who could not read. Slowly, the people no longer saw him only as the richest man. They began to call him a generous man, a good man. His name spread, not for his riches, but for his kindness. And in giving, he found peace. For the first time, he felt that his heart was full, richer than all the gold he owned. Years passed, and Celine faded into silence, forgotten by the people. Her jewels gathered dust in empty halls. But Dairo's name was spoken in every home. Parents told their children, "Do not marry only for beauty. Do not chase gold and forget love. True wealth is not in the hand, but in the heart." And so the story lived on. The villagers never forgot it, and neither did the world. They called it, "The Billionaire Who Regretted Marrying Her." It was not a tale of riches lost, but of wisdom gained through pain.